Hi, and welcome to TV My Husband Hates. I'm Cat Sims.
And I'm Reagan Kempton.
And we are reality TV addicts.
Addicts, aficionados.
Ooh, I like that. Experts. Basically, we know our shit when it comes to reality TV.
100%.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of TV My Husband Hates. I am back again with my trusty sidekick, Reagan Kempton. How are you?
Good. I finished homeschooling on Friday, so we are done with school for this year, which is very exciting. And our things are opening next week for kids to start going to like summer stuff. So the kids go into their summer programs on June 2nd. So I'm seeing the light at the end of the hunker down tunnel.
Well, we've told Billy that she's likely to go back to school on June the 1st. She was so excited about it. She cried. She just wants to go back to school.
Yeah.
And we've just said to her, look, try it. If you like it, great. It's not going to be like normal school. It's going to be really different. But if it makes you feel weird or icky or uncomfortable, you don't have to go. She's like, so I can go some days, but not others. I was like, no. Like, either you're going and you go every day.
Or you're not.
Or you're not going at all. We're not like waking up and going, I don't really feel like it today. Can I not go? That's not happening.
No. That's the worst.
She's really excited. We'll just have to see if it happens. It's still a little bit up in the air. And Bo, bless her nursery's not opening, so she's stuck with us for another God knows how long.
Would it be easier to have Billy at home than Bo for you guys?
I don't know, actually, because Bo, given half a chance, is actually better at playing by herself.
Interesting.
To be honest, it's probably easier to have them both at home because they can play together. But if Billy has the chance to go to school and she really wants to go, then of course I'm going to let her go. But to be honest, neither of my children are easy. Do you know what I mean? You know?
No, I only ask because for me, it's 100% easier to have Tate at home than Heath because Tate's always been a really good independent player. It's just his personality. So, like, he'll read, he'll do Lego, like, he'll just play in his room and not speak to any of us. So it's very easy for us to have him at home. Heath is the one that needs the attention all the time. And he's a bit of like a mama's boy. So it's attention from me. If it's with Elijah, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't bother him. He just does his own thing. If it's me, he's in my lap or pulling on my shirt or asking me to make pictures of toys. And
oh, is he still obsessed with Anna and Elsa's boobies?
He is, but he's also now obsessed with Onward, the new Pixar film.
So good.
Oh, so he's really obsessed with Ian and Barley at the moment. So that's now the morning watching is Onward every day. So Frozen's fallen a little bit to the wayside, but he did ask me to print up a new picture of Anna and Elsa. So maybe he's just bored of the pictures that he already has. But maybe their boo-boos don't look as nice in the pictures that I've made previously.
Yeah,
it's all about the boo-boos.
Your boo-boo game.
Yeah.
Your boo-boo game, obviously. Yeah. But,
no, mine are on the floor. Mine could use some upping as well.
I don't think there's enough upping in the world to up my boo-boo game.
No.
Anyway, that aside, this week we are back on 4 shows. Again, another nice, quiet week for us. I think we might even only have 3 next week. I don't know. We might pick up another one.
Yeah, I think $1 Million Listing LA starts next week or it's the week after. So either way, it's coming up in the next 2 weeks. And then also Below Deck Med starts in June.
It does.
So that
June,
one's coming back.
I think that's coming up. I think it's June,
I think that may be
June
first.
1st.
Yeah, that one may be first. So we'll be picking up some more
excited.
shows with the whole female crew, major crew of a boat for the first time because it's Captain Sandy, it's Malia as the bosun, and Hannah as Chief Stew. So
I wonder if that's an all-female crew for the first time on Bravo, or whether that's an all-female kind of lead crew for the first time ever.
It's definitely the first female crew on Bravo, 100%. Sure. But I don't know if any of you yachties out there. Tell us if that's,
let us know.
Normal or not. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it was normal because the one thing we have learned about the yachting industry is that it's pretty misogynistic.
Yeah. I mean, especially the last season that we watched. That was especially heinous. to quote a little Law and
that
Order.
wasn't just misogynistic for yachting. That was misogynistic for like everything. That was
life.
Awful.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking of below deck, let's move on to BDSY, below deck sailing yacht. And I really, really want to come on to this podcast and really have lots of lovely things to say about Jenna, because I genuinely believe that if it was like us, I think we'd get on. I like her.
Like a house on fire, 100%.
But every week I'm rooting for her. I'm like, come on, babe, handle this one. And every week she fucks it up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm 100% with you. When I was watching this episode, though, I had a light bulb moment, which I don't know if we want to talk about right now, or maybe we'll save for a later episode if we can get it sorted out. But the chat between her and Glenn was so fucking painful, because I actually think Glenn is like the nicest, easiest captain I've ever seen. And I think he was really trying to be thoughtful and considerate, but also convey that there's a problem. And that is not the way it was taken by Jenna at all.
I agree. I think Captain Glenn is one of the best managers I've seen. Like, I think he's genuinely a nice guy, very easygoing, but has clear boundaries. And when you cross them, he'll sit you down and tell you with respect. And I think he did that. Jenna finds it really difficult to take accountability when somebody points out a criticism. Now, this is not saying that she is doing a terrible job. He's not saying that she's a terrible chief steward, or that, it's all been awful. All he's saying is, with regards to her relationship with Adam, she needs to tone it down and be a little bit more professional. Not an unreasonable comment, but the way that she responds is like...
Well, it's like he was murdering a puppy. Like that he's the root of all evil, and all he wants is for people to be fucking miserable.
Yeah, I've got a 6-year-old that could have taken that criticism better. Do you know what I mean? In a more mature way. And I know that she's great at being a chief steward. Well, I know she's great at running that boat. I just need her to stop being on the defensive all the time.
Yeah. Well, I think this is where we see kind of, when we talk about like Adam being a little bit emotionally broken, I think this is the part of Jenna that's a little emotionally broken, where like everything is an attack, everything is deeply personal. And so she's being very defensive about it, and it's not. And, she's put up a couple of things where she's like, watching it back, like, I know how I can do it differently next time. I'm learning so much about myself by watching myself. And I think that's true. I think when you're in that place, you have no idea how defensive you're being, coming from a fellow defensive person. And I think, in a way, it's a blessing and a curse to be able to watch it back and really see where those triggers come and how you respond to them. But at the same time, as someone who doesn't know her and who is watching it, you're just like, shit, girlfriend, like...
Make a different choice.
And he's not even being mean to you.
No, he's being really, really gentle. And I agree. I think you're right. This is where she struggles. And we all fuck up. We've all got our problems, and we all
Good
make
Lord,
mistakes.
yes.
And I absolutely appreciate that. And it sucks for her that it's being played on television. Everybody gets to watch it and comment on it. But here we are. And I think it's interesting because I also think it's important to note that it's only Jenna that's been brought into this conversation with Captain Glenn. And I appreciate that because he feels this is having an effect on the interior, and therefore he needs to speak to her. But I think if you're going to talk to Jen about the relationship that she has with Adam and how it's affecting the boat, I think Adam should be in on that conversation too.
I 100% agree with you. And for you who are listening, this is what I was alluding to earlier. I have a real problem that Adam is not accountable for any of this stuff. And it's not like Jenna's doing this on her own. She's not instigating it all on her own. Like, it's a relationship between two people. And if Jenna's going to get a talking to by the captain, then the captain needs to go have a chat with Adam. Because 100% on Jenna is bearing the brunt of it. She's bearing the brunt of it on social media afterwards as well. And I have a real issue with that. And it was something that kind of just hit me watching this episode. that Adam can do whatever the fuck he wants on this boat, and there doesn't seem to be any oversight for him. And I kind of get it because he's not working with anybody directly. It's not like he has a sous chef or a dishwasher who's like, he's being a fucking asshole, like, sort it out. But at the same time, like, he is accountable to the captain. And I do think Glenn made a misstep by not having that conversation with Adam.
Well, and the problem is the relationship. So it's not just the way Jenna's handling it, it's the way that Adam and Jenna are handling their relationship. And yes, it's affecting the crew, but it's affecting Jenna's crew, but Adam has just as much responsibility when it comes to that. And it just irritates me that, you know, she is the one getting the talking down from Captain Glenn, which I believe that she deserves, but I also think Adam should be sat next to her. She's getting the shit on social media. I don't know whether Adam is and just doesn't talk about it, but I suspect not. It's, you know, I've seen it before on Instagram that couples on Instagram, it's the woman that gets the flack and the guy gets off scot-free. I've seen it happen. So while I think Jenna fucked this conversation up, I don't think that it was handled brilliantly by Captain Glenn in terms of that particular aspect.
Well, and I would almost even go so far as by the other crew members as well, because Adam's being a huge cock to Madison, kind of every chance he can get. And Madison's not complaining about the way he's treating her, but is complaining about the way Jenna's treating her. And, you know, Ciara has this conversation with Glenn about the interior, and she brings this whole issue to light with him, but doesn't mention that Adam is slipping too. And so I feel like it's a bit of a witch hunt about this relationship where it's all Jenna and she needs to, you know, fucking fix the shit, and Adam can do whatever the fuck he wants. And that really rankles me.
No, I do agree, and I feel bad for her. But yeah, it is uncomfortable, and I don't like the way that she then kind of retaliates by pulling them, like, you know, she goes straight to the girls and like just throws a ton of criticism at them.
100%.
You know, and it's like, babe, come on, like you've got the power to do this better. And and I think a lot of this social media backlash is coming from that kind of conversation.
Absolutely.
Because we all want to see her succeed, because actually she's got a really great crew. We've all watched Below Deck. This is such a great interior crew.
Absolutely.
And it's just a shame when we see her behaving like that. But like you say, she's acknowledged it. She recognizes it on social media. She's saying that she knows that she could have handled it differently. And she's learning. And I can only imagine what a baptism of fire it is, sort of being thrust into that without really any kind of support or training. But I do wish she'd handled it differently.
Me too. I really didn't like the conversation that she had with Madison and Georgia. It was not a good one. They have grown. I mean, Georgia has grown a lot as a stewardess just through this season, I think, that we've seen. And I think Madison has too. Like, I think Madison's trying, but I really didn't like the way she spoke to them. I don't think they deserved it. I think that was coming from a place of like anger and hurt, and it was just misplaced emotion.
I have to say, though, I think if Georgia and Madison had Kate Chastain as a chief stew, I think that would have been such a dream team, because Kate would have pushed them hard enough, like Jenna's done, to kind of get more out of them. But I think her management skills would have fitted better with Georgia and Madison, and I would have loved to see them kick ass. I mean, that being said, the interior crew has kicked ass as far as guest sort of experience goes, just not in terms of morale. Yeah.
I totally agree. But you know who is good for morale? Fucking Chris, man.
You know what? That guy is getting sexier every episode. Like, still not actually sexy. But, but watching him fight through that pain, and he's got a prolapsed
man. Like, he's really hurt.
Yeah, like, he's nailed. He's fucking nailed.
Like, that's incredible to me.
I feel bad for him as well, because, you know, he is, all he wants to do is work. All he wants to do is be on boats. And this is quite a serious injury. Like, if this isn't treated properly, it could be something that plagues him for the rest of his life. It could be, you know, really tricky for his career. So I do feel for him. Paget's like, oh, fuck, I've lost another one.
Oh. Well, I wrote that down on my notes. Like, I felt Ciara and Paget were being a little insensitive to, like,
Me too.
his fucking massive back issue, but he's still pulling his weight. And he's like, you know what? I want to do the night watch. Like, let me do the things that I can do to make your life easier. So, like, he's giving them sleep. And it was just like, you know what? If that had been fucking Parker, he wouldn't do shit for you guys. No. I mean, he didn't do shit for you even when he was well. Like, what the fuck?
Parker wouldn't ever be able to put his back out because he's never lifted anything that heavy. Like, this is the reality of Parker. Parker wouldn't ever. Prince Parker. Don't think so.
I don't know. That ego is pretty heavy to tow around, but.
That is very true. The other thing that we have is not about the crew on this episode, but we've got little Billy, who, bless him, is going to get himself into a lot of trouble.
Hell yeah. I feel like this is only the second time in all of the Below Decks that we've seen drugs be brought on board. Because I think there was one time.
The first episode, wasn't it?
That's right.
I think it was like the very first
the first
episode.
Season. Yeah.
And the guy
was it Med? I thought it was Captain Lee. Maybe it's happened
maybe it
3
was
times.
Captain Lee. No, it was Captain Lee.
I think it was Captain Lee's. I think it was one of the first seasons of just the regular Below Deck.
I think he might be.
Because I think like the blonde stewardess was working, and I think Chef Ben was on board. Anyways, but it's only the second time it's ever happened, to my knowledge, on this.
Well, it's the second time that it's ever been like caught.
Yes.
Other thing.
Caught
Like,
is
that.
key.
I imagine that there's probably quite a lot of people doing some pretty naughty stuff on those boats. But this guy is not really hiding it very well. And I don't know. Obviously, it's not confirmed. But I think we all know that this is going. If it gets to a point where 2 crew members are like, that guy is on something.
There's powder on his nose, and you can hear him sniffing from the cameras from outside of the bathroom. I mean, like we were talking earlier, it's not seasonal allergies. Like, the leaves aren't falling in the middle of the ocean. It's not Puritan. You're not sniffing the allergy medication to get it to hit you quicker. No. I don't think that's the case.
No, I think that we can safely say that he's on the racket. But I'm interested to find out whether they find any. I'm interested to find out. I can only imagine Captain Glenn, when he finds out that they think this guy's got drugs, you can just tell it's like absolutely the last fucking thing you want to do. Like talking himself out of it, going, I mean, I don't think they would. They wouldn't fly with drugs. I'm like, oh, bless you, Captain Glenn. Yes, they would.
I mean, can you imagine?
Or they just buy it when they get there.
Can you imagine the last charter going any worse than it has been right now? Like Captain Glenn's having to deal with like the Jenna and Adams situation. Fucking Chris has fucked his back. Paget is hurt himself. Ciara's sick as well. Like everything is fucking hitting the fan. I mean, maybe those crows from a couple charters ago really fucked them.
Well, and the other thing is, well, the tip fucks either way, because now they have to ask the guy about the drugs.
Right.
And if he's got the drugs, then they're all off the boat. There's no tip there. And if he hasn't got the drugs, then he's pissed that he's been asked about the drugs, and they're not tipping there either. So it's fucked in some ways.
Yeah, in some ways, but he's not the primary. So tipping is really up to her, the female primary. I mean, if he fucked her over, maybe she's going to be so fucking embarrassed that she's going to throw money at the problem.
Maybe. We'll see. I mean,
or kick him off the boat and they all get to stay.
Maybe. I don't know if you can. I don't know what the rules are.
What are the rules? Can you throw one person off the charter?
I think you can do what you like. I think you just throw him overboard.
Throw him off the boat.
Yeah, exactly. Just throw him overboard.
There you go.
Anyway, so next week will be the last episode of Below Deck Sailing Yacht, the inaugural season, which I've really enjoyed. I hope it comes back. Don't know if it will. We also don't know whether there's going to be a reunion, although it looks likely. Because Andy Cohen was asking for questions on his Facebook page for the crew. So it sounds likely. And I think, honestly, now that they've got the virtual reunion up and running, there's no excuse not to.
No, I mean, Vanderpump Rules is going to have one. So there will be a mini-sode opinion. The Real Housewives of Atlanta right now. Got one more episode of that one before it comes out. And actually, the Atlanta one is fucking fire. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I think they're definitely going to do it because, frankly, they're conscious of making sure they've got new programming coming out throughout lockdown. They're really trying to make sure that it's not just repeats and things like that. So I think if they have a chance to create more programs, they'll do it. And I think the reunion will happen. I am here for it, and I'm here for next week's episode. I'm excited.
Well, also, what else is everybody else doing? Everybody's fucking at home. So why can't they hop on and call and do a fucking reunion?
True that. They're not sailing around the med.
No.
Okay, so let's move on to Vanderpump Rules. Again, season finale was this week. This is the last one. So they were largely tying stuff up. But let's start with Dana, Brett, and Max.
Oh, Dana. Like, Dana, you're better than this. You are fucking better than this.
I said it last week, I'll say it again. She's blinded by the abs. And I know she's smart in this, and I know she's going to come to the right conclusion eventually. But the way that she is giving Brett a pass for what is like obnoxious behavior.
The whole fucking chat about being interested is different than having feelings, and fuck off, Brett. You are a douche. You are a douche.
He's an absolute dickhead. I cannot cope with his arrogance.
No.
And she's so blinded by it. Like, she just is looking into his pretty blue eyes and is like, oh, yeah, I get it. I know what he means. Nobody else gets him like I get him. Yeah. Oh, Dana.
No.
Come on.
It's exactly what you think it is. There's no depth to it. He's showing you everything. Fucking pay attention.
And while we're on this conversation about men who are acting like children, like Max as well, for the love of God, you like her, tell her you like her, don't be a fucking twat to her. It's like the kid that pulls the pigtails and runs away. It's like he's just being mean to you because he's hurt and he really likes you. I don't think he's behaving brilliantly either, slagging himself silly. Like, she could do better than all of them.
Just
fucking dump them all.
Absolutely. That's where I'm landing on this whole fucking triad of bullshit. Like, you're better than both. They're both very fucking immature and have no idea how they're actually feeling. So tell them to both fuck off. Or, you know what? They can fuck each other for all anybody else cares.
And also, let's go back to this misogyny chat because, it's all right for Max to forgive Brett. Max is going to be cool with Brett about the whole thing. Yeah. But now he's not going to be cool with Dana. So he's just going to freeze Dana out of it. It's such bullshit.
It's 100% bullshit because in my mind, Brett was the one that has fucking done wrong. Dana went to you after all like the early on like fucking misconstrued information that happened at the beginning of the season. Told you she wanted to have another chance, that she was willing to like do that and wanted to move on, and you fucking said no. So she went out with somebody else. Your best mate is hitting on that chick now. Yeah. Like, he instigated it. Gross. Yeah, and that's fucked up to me, because actually I think that's worse. Like, that's worse.
Well, it's just bullying. And what I do love about Dana is that when she's having that chat with Max, she's like, I'm perfectly happy with how I carry myself. Like, her confidence is there. She's badass enough to deal with it, but she shouldn't fucking have to deal with it. And it just pisses me off. And it's textbook fucking patriarchy at work, and it's wrong.
It is. Like, in my mind, like, the nail in the coffin was when he was like, well, I hired you. Like, I brought you on to all this stuff. Fuck off,
Don't even
Max.
get me started. As soon as he realized that he couldn't break her with his, like, usual bullying techniques, he then went for the, like, power play. Well, I'm your boss. And it's like,
you're not anymore.
Yeah. Here, it was such an... I'm so mad I can't even get a sentence out. I didn't realize how mad I was about this, actually, until I started talking about it.
Oh, that comment really fucking set me off.
I'm raging. Yeah. Max, you're a dickhead. You're both dickheads. Go and be dickheads together.
And leave her the fuck alone.
And get off my TV screen while you're at it, because honestly, I'm done. You douchebag, you don't deserve her.
No. What do you think? I mean, just piggybacking off of that, like, what do you think about the new people that they've brought in? Like, do you think they're here for good, or do you think they'll phase out fairly quickly for next season?
I don't know. I don't think any of them have really jumped out at me, except maybe sort of Dana and Max, I would say. You know, I think that those two fit. I think the others just seem like preschoolers in a high school musical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just feel like they don't really fit.
No, I totally agree. I think I would like to see more James next season because I think James has really gotten his shit together. So I would like to see more James rather than bring on kind of any more new people. I also have always liked Peter. Like, he's really been relegated into the background the past couple of seasons. I'd like to see him have a bigger role again because he's fucking hilarious. And I think he's got his shit together. So.
Yeah. I think it was, I don't know whether they are hoping, I think they brought in the new lot so that they could keep the focus of the show, because obviously none of the old lot actually really work there very much anymore. Apart from sort of Jackson, Ariana. Oh, Brittany does.
And Brittany went back.
But essentially, I think they wanted to kind of refocus it on the restaurant and the goings on there. I just don't know if it's worked with the people that they picked. But also, if you're a diehard Vanderpump fan, you just want to see the guys that you grew up watching. You know, those are the ones that you want to keep following. So unless they can get some great ones in that can really bridge that gap between the restaurant and the Toms and all of that, I just stick with what works.
Well, I think you almost have to do like a full pull away really to separate the two. Like, because I think you need a new Stassi at Sir. Gina's not going to do it. Like, she just can't. I think you almost need like a whole new group and do like two separate shows or, you know, whatever, if the other people still want to do shows. But I don't know. It's a hard thing to kind of bridge because you're right. Most of them don't work there anymore. Jax will always fucking work there because where else is he going to work? So let's move on to Jax.
I mean, it's really clear. It's a bit like Dorinda in New York. It's really clear what's happening. Like, nobody's under any illusions as to what's going on, apart from actually Jax himself. And even
maybe Brittany a little bit.
Yeah, and even he's got an inkling that there's something not quite right. But like Jenna, like Dorinda, I just want to shake them and go, just do it a bit better.
Yeah.
Just make a slightly better choice, because especially for Jax, these are friends that he has known for years.
Yeah.
Like in Tom's case, almost decades. And
multiple decades, like 20 years.
And if your friends are telling you of 20 years that they need to put some boundaries in because they can't keep doing the same thing over and over again, whether that's Ariana or Tom, then surely you've got to start listening. And then Lisa gives him a come to Jesus chat at the end as well, and there's just something that's not going through.
Yeah, no, he pops off at her and calls Vanderpump Rules his show. Like, his show is successful, and you're like, oh, dude.
I mean,
like, you need to go get some therapy, and you need to work through this shit, because you can't do it on your own. Going to the gym 3 times a day is not going to do it for you. Like, you are going to have to look at these fucking hard, gross parts of yourself and work them the fuck out if you want any of this to be okay.
Well, and I'm not even sure if this isn't something that, like, is that serious that maybe we're even talking about something diagnosable here. Like, there seems to be something really quite manic and chaotic about him. And it's such a shift, right? It's gone from being kind of normal for Jax, to this, which is just ragey mania.
Well, this is old Jax. Like, I think if you look at, like, the series as a whole, we're just seeing him kind of go back to these very manic, very self-destructive ways. And I think manic is the right word, because I think, like, he can be fucking awesome. He can be a really good dude and be there for people and, you know, fucking talk to Carter when no one else can. Like, we saw really good things from him at the beginning of this, but it's like we've hit now his fucking lows, and it's dark and scary and fucking ragey, and he'll probably go way back up again. But I think, like, that fucking difference between the ups and the downs needs to be worked out, because it's too much.
Well, and it's too much for Brittany, and his kind of narcissism is overwhelming. Like, when Lisa tells him that his marriage is in trouble, he's like, my marriage isn't in trouble. And he can't even comprehend that Brittany would have the agency to not be okay with the way he's behaving. He's like got this arrogance that because they're married, that he can now behave exactly as he likes and Brittany will be fine and the relationship's fine. And Lisa really has to say to him, it's not going to be fine. If you carry on like this will affect your marriage. You've been married a month.
Right. Could you fucking imagine? I mean, it's like a totally different person. It's like you've married one person and you fucking woke up next to this crazy person and you're like, what the fuck?
And I feel Brittany.
I feel a little bit bad saying crazy as well. Like, obviously, he is fucking dealing with some shit and he needs to look after his mental health. But I feel like it'd be night and day. Like, you just went to bed with one person and you woke up with somebody else. And that would be hard to deal with as well.
I feel for Brittany, too, because obviously this is really difficult in a number of ways. I think she is torn between knowing that she has to stand by her man, but also I don't want her to get into that element of enabling it, of excusing it. And I think she's a little bit there. I think she's very aware personally that there is something wrong, but publicly she isn't. She seems to just be blindly accepting his kind of behavior, and I think her friends are going to struggle with that. And I can see what she's doing, and I can only imagine how fucking miserable it must be to live with Jax when he's like this.
Well, it's a shitty situation too, right? Like, if she was calling him out and being a real dick to him, I mean, it's Jax, so maybe not a lot of people would fucking jump on her shit, but there would be people jumping on her shit, being like, well, how dare you? Like, he's obviously struggling and all this shit he's gone through. Like, she's in a really shit position. Like, I really feel for her. But hopefully they work it out, and I'm sure they'll be back next season, and we'll just see how it goes.
I mean, I felt for, when he basically broke up with Tom at the end. Like, is it weird that I got a little bit teary? I really felt for Tom because I felt like he was just so frustrated. And Jack just was like doing that cutting his nose thing off to spite his face. And Lisa just thought, what the fuck is
what
going
the fuck?
on?
Yeah. Lisa's got to be tired with Jax. Like, he's that puppy that you go to, you go and adopt and rescue, and you just really want it to fucking work. And, like, it's 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. And it's just that constantly. It's got to be exhausting.
The other thing that we see a lot more of, and go back to your chat earlier about James, we do get a little bit more about James. We see that his mum is sober too. She's also a little bit batshit, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. Like, especially when she was drinking in, like, earlier seasons. Like, I think that's why Lisa steps in so much. Because Lisa knows his mom and, like, knew his mom and dad from England. And, like, James has not had an easy life. And I think that's why Lisa is willing to, like, give him so many chances. Because she knows, like, or she's hoping that just one of these chances will finally fucking kick him in the ass and, like, make him realize it.
Well, I don't actually see Lisa never giving anybody another chance if they deserve it. Like, I feel like she would always be there if somebody came back after whatever they did and said sorry or had learned something or was willing to be open and vulnerable. I think she would always allow them back in, but she makes them work for it. And what I love about her is that she knows just how far to push each individual.
Yeah.
She knew she really had to push James. She really had to take his night away. She really couldn't give it back to him. She didn't do that. It was like a year that he lost that. With Stacy, she knew she had to push her a little bit, but actually she just flew. And I think that's what Lisa's real talent is seeing what their potential is and just knowing how to handle them and kind of manage them into it.
Yeah, I think the only exception to that is Kristen. Well, she will never let Kristen back there. No, I don't think she would. Even if Kristen was contrite, I don't think she would.
Do you not think?
No.
I don't know. I think if Kristen put in a consistent
because I think we've seen this with Kristen though. Like earlier seasons, we saw her like get suspended and change a little bit and come back. Like I think Kristen is too far gone for Lisa. To be really honest with you.
I do know what you mean.
Because I think she's personally fucked with her too much. Like, Jax and James are really fucking self-destructive. They don't destroy Lisa. Like, really, they've never really said bad words against Lisa. throughout their kind of pose, whereas Kristen's been like really gross about Lisa herself.
Yeah.
And I think that's a differentiator.
I don't know. I think that if even with Kristen, I think that if she could do something she hadn't done before, like not just change a little bit and come back, not just change a little bit. I think there would be a certain period of time, if like for the next millennia, Kristen was decent. I think
she'd
Lisa
be like 6
years
old.
I think Lisa's willing to see that there could be change in anybody. I reckon. Here's the thing. I don't think it's going to happen because Kristen is incapable of that. Yeah. But if Kristen was capable of actually changing and proving that change and being committed to that, I think Lisa would respond. I
think where Lisa's strength is she's a really good judge of character. So she will give people chances who will change. There's a reason why she's never given Kristen any more chances in like the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Because she won't.
Well, she hasn't changed.
It's a moot point. I think she identifies those who she knows that she can kind of push and that growth will happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen with Kristen, so she doesn't even try.
And that's the irony. Kristen was the oldest of the group when Vanderpump started. She is exactly the same person today as she was season 1, episode 1 of Vanderpump Rules. Yeah. And this is mind-blowing to me that she cannot look around her and see these people are getting married, they've got book deals, they're owning bars, they're really growing. Everybody has changed. But Kristen is still exactly the same person as she was season 1, episode 1. And it's mind-blowing that she lacks the self-awareness to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought like her buying the house, like I think she has other things going on that we don't see, but I think you're absolutely right. When it comes to dealing with this group, there has absolutely been no growth. Like she is the same girl that fucked Jax on Tom Sandoval's couch when they were dating other people.
Yeah. But this was a digression from
sorry about that.
James, of course. So James is doing really well, and we like this.
Yeah.
James seems to be doing really well, and we see him on his kind of AA apology tour, which I'm not undermining it with that, but he is doing great things, and he obviously comes up to apologize to Randall, which is definitely an apology that needs to happen.
Oh my God. Like, I think Randall is probably the person that he's been most mean about on the show, talk the most shit about. And Randall is classy as fuck and like is cool and just really proud of him, and it's fine. Takes his apology and is cool with it.
Yeah, I get Randall. Like, I get why Lala fancies Randall.
God,
There is something really very attractive about him.
Yeah. We get it, Lala. We get it.
Yeah, we get it. Anyway, should we move on to Beverly Hills?
Yes, I think we should. So I'm looking forward to this Vanderpump Rules reunion. It should be fascinating.
But just down the road in Beverly Hills, the Kyle Teddy group drama about who's friends with who more and who gets, it rumbles on.
Yeah, it's the who's your best friend fight that we all had in elementary school.
We were talking about this quite a lot in our pre-production meeting, and we sort of started talking about whether we felt for Kyle or whether, the girls had a point. And in the end, I just decided that I didn't really give a shit, because it's embarrassing watching women of this age have this conversation over and over again.
Yeah, I think the recapping would be interesting, because I think you very much stand, or at least you did before we had our chat, like you were like, what the fuck's wrong with these girls? Why are they being assholes to Kyle?
Yeah.
And
I still do stand by that a little bit.
Yeah, so that's your stance. And my stance is like, this I think has been building for a long time. I don't think they're necessarily trying to be assholes to Kyle. I think they just want Kyle to own up to the fact that like she is closer to Teddy, because actually they're all fine with it. But I think Kyle refuses to admit that she treats Teddy a bit with kind of cotton wool, where she wouldn't do that with other people. And obviously you don't treat everybody the same, because we're all different people and whatnot. But Kyle can say certain things to Lisa Rinna that if she said it to Teddy would, and I think all the other women just want that acknowledgement that like, you can fucking say shit to us and we kind of just have to deal with it. Whereas Teddy is like kind of just kept in this little bubble, and you talk really nicely and slow and caressing to her, and like, because she can't handle it. And kind of my argument is, if Teddy can't fucking handle it, she doesn't need to be on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can both agree that Teddy could happily leave the show and none of us would give a shit. I agree with everything you're saying. I think that is the problem. I don't see why it's a problem. I don't see why we can't all just accept that some people need to be treated slightly differently. You know, I don't treat you like I treat my husband. I don't treat, my sister. You have different ways of dealing with people. And I get that if they feel that they have been unfairly treated by Kyle in some respects, in a way that when Teddy's done the same thing, she didn't get that, then that's a conversation. But I'm not hearing any specifics about this. I'm just sort of hearing that people are annoyed that she won't say that she treats Teddy slightly more gently, because frankly, Teddy's such a fucking pain in everybody's arse. Like, she just, and Kyle has a thing for the underdog. Yes. She does. You see her, she backs up Sutton if she feels she's being picked on. She's backing up Teddy because Teddy's just the born underdog. And while I understand the words that they're saying, like, I get what the problem is. I just can't understand why it matters so much.
I think and this is just maybe coming from me, like, I'm trying to think of myself, like, if I was in that friend group and she could say pretty fucking vile things to me and I just had to deal with it, and then, like, maybe Teddy did the same thing and it wasn't dealt with that way, I think that is where it's coming from. I think they're saying, like, you freak the fuck out on everybody else and not her, and it's fucking causing problems within our group. I think that's the brass tacks of it. Something must have happened. It has set some people off. I think sometimes Kyle is kind of the matriarch of the family because she's been there the longest, or the group. And I think she just needs to be like, you know what? You're right. Like, I do treat everybody differently. Everybody needs to be handled in a bit of a different way. Sorry if I've pissed you off. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it's like, they feel that there's a lack of awareness of it, because Kyle kind of comes across like, no, I treat you all the same. And it's like, well, you don't. Yeah. To be honest, I'd have the same problem if someone was just unwilling to fucking acknowledge that there is a difference.
I mean,
I don't know.
I get it. I don't know. I mean, I think it's coming from Dorit, because I think Dorit feels like Kyle's attacked her and she wouldn't attack Teddy. But I don't think that Teddy would turn up, late for something. This is the thing. Like, if I felt that there were two things, something Teddy had done, something Dorit had done, and Kyle had been completely different in how they handled it, then I'd be like, okay, I get it. I just feel like I think it's Dorit deflecting, because Kyle's given her shit for being a little disrespectful, turning up late, whatever, I don't know.
But that wasn't anyways, that's a different argument. It wasn't even disrespectful, but
got nothing it's also
right.
Like, why all of a sudden is this about Kyle's relationship with Teddy? Like, I just feel I don't know. I think
so my argument is, it is about the relationship with Teddy. Sorry to like, it is about the relationship with Teddy, because like, Dorit had everything worked out with Teddy and it was fine, and fucking Kyle attacked her for it.
Well, you see, we disagree here too, because I don't think Dorit did work everything out with Teddy. I think Teddy said, because Teddy did that thing in the interview where she's like, did I expect Dorit to come for lunch? Like, and then it flashed back to the time where Dorit just left her hanging at that restaurant for hours and hours and hours. She's like, I know Dorit now. Like, I didn't expect her to come.
Well, she said she wouldn't be there for lunch, and she ended up being there for lunch. Like, she was early.
I don't know. What I do know is that I think the level that this has now gone to
is 100% ridiculous. We can agree on that.
Ridiculous. Like, screaming at this whole chat about whether they were in couples therapy.
Yeah, it's just gotten ridiculous.
It just feels ridiculous. And you know my thing about Dorit, I just feel like she's just sat there in the back, in the corner, just like.
But I don't think it's just Dorit. Like, Kyle said some fucking really inappropriate things to Erica and was a dick to Erica about it.
She was a dick to Erica.
that whole situation was not just a read. Like, Kyle needs her shit for that too. And
you're right.
I mean, it's just a bit of a fucking mess right now, right? Like, people who were really close friends seem to be fighting. It does seem a little bit like Teddy and Kyle versus everybody else. And then you've got kind of these new people who don't really know where they land. Like, Garcelle's like, nobody's even trying to get, like, you're not even trying to get to know me. And it's just like the group dynamic is off. Something is amiss.
There's something weird going on. You're right. That being said, Erica remains the queen because not only does she
always
level Sutton when they are about to go, when her and Dorit are about to go at it, and she just turns to her like steely glazed and is like, "You are a guest in my house." Sutton's credit, she says, "You're right, I am. I'm sorry."
Sutton can respect that.
Love them both for that.
Absolutely.
But Erica as well, going into her rehearsals for Roxy for Chicago, I have never loved her more. And like you said, she's just opening up and being honest, but also I just love her work ethic, the way she approaches things. She takes nothing for granted. And she lives in this fucking whole huge Hollywood mansion with
like an old school Hollywood mansion.
Old Hollywood. She doesn't have to do any of this, and she turns up and she's humble, and I love her.
I do as well. She's not a fucking spoiled fake ass bitch by any means. Like, she's all real. I love that we're seeing like her heart. This season, I feel like that's something that, I mean, I've always loved her. I've never really given a fuck about whether we see her heart or just the badass bitch that she is. But I'm really enjoying seeing her heart and like seeing her open up and really care when she starts crying when the cast of Chicago sends her that message when she's rehearsing. Was just really awesome. And I love watching her and Tom together. Like, I don't understand why people question why they're together.
No,
I fucking get it. It's so easy to get when you see them together. And
I 100% agree.
I was telling you, I always kind of forget how much older Tom actually is until he drops lines that like he went to school with like John Wayne's kid and like has had that house for 25 years. Like, he is so old school Hollywood. But man, that fucking guy looks nice. Like, he carries off a suit. He's fucking working. Like, he's not this decrepit old man that people seem to make him out to be when they attack her about it. But like, I love their relationship. I could watch them all the time.
Me too. And I think if anybody questions it, then there are problems with them because, like you say, it seems so real and genuine. It's just like Lala and Randall on the other one. I get it. It makes sense. Even if it doesn't look like it should, it absolutely does.
I mean, it's a lot like Harry and Lisa when you see them together and how they're dealing with their kids. And I love how they recognize, like, look, having two really famous parents is fucking hard as shit. Yeah. And we probably give them things for that. But you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I love Lisa Rinna at home. Like, Lisa Rinna at home, her and Harry, who, by the way, is fit.
So fit.
Crush on Harry.
So fucking sexy.
So sexy. Just all take a minute.
Let's have a moment. Let's have a Harry Hamlin moment.
Let's do that. Okay. I do. I love Lisa at home. I think their chat is really good. I love that Harry was all, I've been away and they wanted to have dinner with me. And it just feels, again, really real. And I think that's why I can forgive Lisa a lot of the drama that she brings. She does perform. Like, she's performing.
100%. Yeah.
Like, she's not at home in her sweat. She's with the girls and she's on a show and she's performing. And and that's really quite clear to me. So I love that about her.
Well, it's honest, isn't it? It's honest. It's not covered in bullshit.
No, exactly. Because they're all performing. It's just, they're not all admitting it.
Yeah.
But I love that dynamic and I love that they're looking after their girls because she's, when Amelia's obviously vulnerable and Lisa says, you just don't fuck with that. And if it means bringing her home, then that's what you do.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that touches like all parents' hearts, right? Like, you do whatever it takes. And when your kid is hurting and struggling, you figure it out.
Yeah, and there's a difference between a kid that wants to quit because they just can't quite be asked and a kid that actually needs real help. Like, and that's what Lisa's been able to recognize. And bravo on her for not letting that ball drop and for taking it seriously. Before we move on, I just want to discuss very quickly just the Dorit Italian restaurant PK thing. These two, obviously my feelings about Dorit.
Yeah.
These two, though, feel less and less authentic every time I see them on screen.
100%. And I think we really see it when she like whispers to him on the confessional, like, watch what you say.
Yeah, be careful what you say.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he was about to like undermine her like abilities, and she was not like. I think it felt a bit like we're putting together a united front. Be careful what you say. Just
right.
All very constructed and awkward.
Yeah.
And just watching, even the guy at the restaurant is questioning her commitment.
Her seriousness. Yeah.
I just don't buy them. I don't buy into this whole thing that they're showing right now.
No, and I'm going to say, I hope I don't offend anybody by talking ill of Buca di Beppo, but it is like the shittiest Italian restaurant I've ever been to in my life. I'd rank it below the Olive Garden. For all of you who are not in America and have no idea what I'm talking about, it's like every cheesy fucking Italian restaurant that you've ever seen in any American movie. Like it's the red checked tablecloths, like it's all the cliche bullshit. And the room that Dorit designs has fucking yellow with these red checked tablecloths and like some lights up. It still looks shitty. It's still got gross food. Like it's like doing a room in an Arby's. Like I don't understand why this is even like a story. Like why is this even interesting? Nobody cares. And how are you even comparing it to what Lisa and fucking like how are you comparing it to what Lisa is doing? There's no fucking comparison.
Never want to miss an opportunity to be just a little bitch. PK jumps in with some sort of criticism, and the whole thing makes me feel uncomfortable. And there's definitely some shady shit going on, and it makes me realize that Lisa probably knew, going back to that very good judge of character, at some point Lisa decided that PK and Dorit would be on saving, and that she needed them out of her life.
Yep. I think you're absolutely right. I was thinking about that when we were talking about it earlier, and I mean, like when I take up for Dorit, please don't think that I like her above Kyle, because that's 100% not the case. I just think like their group dynamic is whack.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I think it's weird. We don't really seem to have much of a storyline right now. Obviously, we're all waiting for Denise and Brandy. That's Brandy. Andy Cohen let slip in a podcast the other day that Brandy doesn't make an entrance until episode 10, and that was episode 5. So we've still got a few weeks before that kicks off. So God knows
it was episode 6. We got about 4 weeks. Yeah.
God knows what they're going to fill it with, though, if they're just going to be banging on about Kyle and Teddy all the time.
Oh, I hope not.
Massive fucking yawn fest. Finally,
the drunken ladies of New York.
God, it's so exhausting talking about these people. What the fuck did we do this podcast for? I can't bear to deal with this level of crazy every fucking week.
It's so fucking on.
I feel like I need to carb load and gird my loins.
I feel like I have been carb loading.
Oh God, it's a lot of energy. Anyway,
So yeah, it's like the day after the really fucking drunken, messy orchard trip. Everybody's kind of talking about their issues. For some reason, Leah is taking advice from fucking Luann on how to like handle these women, which I just want to side note, Leah, just fucking do you, because the women obviously fucking respond to that. You do you in whatever way you want. That's the right answer. Don't fucking listen to Luann.
And while we're at it, Tinsley, take Leah's advice.
Yes.
Let's be a bit more thug about this. And that is actually
hard.
Would get Dorinda.
Fuck yeah.
Eventually get Dorinda's respect, because if Tinsley just turned around, instead of worrying about making Dorinda like her and why Dorinda doesn't like her, she just turned around and went, you know what, Dorinda?
Fuck off.
Yeah. This is me. If you don't like me, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But let's calm down the bullying, get back in your fucking box, stay in your lane, and let me do me, and you can do you. Boo. That would have Dorinda's respect.
Yes. Mic drop, walk away. That's how you deal with fucking bullies. That's how you deal with it. You don't fucking try to placate them and have these long ass bullshit lunches with them. Like, you call her.
Yeah. And you know what? Dorinda's an open book. We can all see exactly what the fuck is going on. This is not rocket science. Even the life coach
gets
this fucking life coach. But I don't care. Dorinda is a bully right now. And I'm not saying that she is inherently a bully as a person, but right now her behavior is what we like to call bullying.
Yeah. Very least fucking asshole.
Yeah, asshole bully. That's what she's doing right now. That's her look right now. And it's not cute on a 50-year-old woman.
It's coming to Fashion Week 2021. She's sporting the asshole bully.
Made famous by Dorinda in season 12. I mean, call it what you like. She's being a fucking bully. And I have to say, we talked about it last week. We expected more from Leah at the orchard because I feel like she didn't stand up to Dorinda. But she does explain it and says, I think she's frightened of Dorinda.
Yeah.
And I think the next day when she has lunch with Luann, she kind of recognizes that she should have said more. You know, she felt really uncomfortable about it. And then she's the only one that dares to bring it up at the Russian bathhouse, which, by the way, is like on my list of things to do the next time I go to New York.
That is my kind of spa. Allows you to drink infused vodka while being hit with leaves.
Yes.
And wearing condom hats.
Yes. There was a lot. There's a lot to unpack about that spa. But essentially, what I love most about it is that it really forced the most obnoxious of the group out of their comfort zone. Like Dorinda and Luann talking about having to go downtown as if we sent them off to fucking Baghdad. Like, dude, Sonia, well, there's lots of graffiti here and the gates are
shut your precious mouth.
They're awful. And I think that's what Leah's done. Leah's appearance on the show has highlighted just how obnoxious they were. And I think we all just didn't see it before because there was nothing to kind of measure it against. Yeah. But now we've got normal, lovely Leah, who's a bit of a badass, and by next week's trailer, a complete fucking mentalist as well. But we've got her just revealing them in all their obnoxious glory.
Yeah, yeah. And I like that she's like taking them into like her neighborhood and making it, because in that way she's also opening up to them, which these girls are really, they really respect that and they receive it. Yeah, she's just a badass. I loved the spa. I loved that actually most of the girls kind of really got in the spirit of it and like did her shit. I also like that Tinsley didn't want to do something and she just didn't do it. I think we're seeing a little growth there.
Yeah. I mean, she's a princess. That doesn't make her an idiot. That doesn't make her a terrible person.
Right.
But I agree. I think she stood by her own. She didn't want to do it. She didn't do it. Good on her. And I think, you know, it was sad to see her in some ways at the bathhouse because she was so quiet. Like she just realized that now there's no conversation to have with Dorinda. Dorinda has essentially silenced her right now. And that makes me sad. I really hope that Dorinda comes out the other side of this. Like, I hope that this isn't what it's going to be like for the whole season.
I never thought there would be a season of The Real Housewives of New York that would make me side with Ramona as much as this season has.
I actually wrote, who the fuck thought that Ramona would become the voice of reason on this show?
Crazy Eye Ramona. Like, do you remember that fashion show where her eyes were like all insane and just walking out and just all the crazy shit she's done? She has been the real like voice of reason in this season, like the real kind of nurturer. Like she's been like that kind of mother figure to Leah, which I think blows up next episode anyways, which is what I was thinking about. But like, she's also calling Dorinda on her shit. And I think it's a little pot calling the kettle black because we've seen Ramona fight the exact same way, but I like that Ramona's fighting this fight with Dorinda because I don't really think anybody else can in the same way. But yeah, I'm fucking Team Ramona this fucking season.
I agree. Before we wrap up, we've got Leah. We introduced to Leah's sister, who looks like a nice girl, doesn't she?
Yeah, Sarah.
Another girl with a fringe. And Leah's lamenting that the boyfriend who owns, like, is the king of pita breads. I don't know.
Yes.
She sent him a naked picture with a pita bread covering her lady garden. Let's just call it a vagina. Shall we call it covering a vagina? And she's pissed because he was intending to send it to a friend, but accidentally sent it back to her.
So would you be more pissed that he was intending to send it to a friend and couldn't fucking work the phone to actually properly do it, or the fact that he was forwarding a nude?
Do you know what I would be? I would be sat there going, well, if I'm going to send out naked pictures, then I'm going to have to accept that they're going to get out there. It's like going to the pool and complaining about getting fucking splashed. That's just not how it works.
No. I mean, it's not 2005, and we've all just got our very fucking first camera phones. Maybe it was a little bit earlier than that, but like, you know what's going to happen when you send somebody a nude picture. If he doesn't forward it to a friend, someone's going to fucking find it. It's going to end up on the internet. Like, this isn't new. No. Don't do that.
And he's the king of pita. He's probably just going to blow it up and put it on a billboard and sell some fucking pita.
Oh, yeah, that's what like the new big sign is probably going to be in Times Square. It's just going to be Leah with a pita on her bits.
I mean, I want to say pita bits.
Pita bits.
Bits of pita. I don't know. There's something there. There's something to work with there.
You can send your marketing check, too.
I'll do your matrix.
All right, guys.
That's us then, I think. Finishing on pita covering vaginas is not where I saw this ending, but I'm here for it.
I'm here for that. I think that's how we roll. So enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend and your bank holiday in the UK, because at least in the US, this starts summer vacay. So this is like the official start of our summer vacation is this weekend.
Oh, good on you. We are so far away from summer vacay. In fact, I think summer's cancelled over here. But yeah, have a great one. We'll be back next week. And remember, if you can and you would like to, then we are on Patreon, patreon.com/tvmyhusbandhates. Anything that you can spare would always be very grateful. It helps keep this podcast what it is. And we do a little happy dance every time somebody sponsors us. And we're creating some pretty epic, cool content for you. Extra episodes. We're trying to pull in some brilliant interviews and things like that. So if you want to be...
things are in the works.
Things are in the works that you might have to pay a little bit for it. But just the cost of a cup of coffee every month. That's all it is.
Not anything big. It's all relative.
Although we will take the big ones too, just in
100%.
In case. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week. And in the meantime, remember...
Smart people watch reality TV too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Please subscribe, rate and review TV My Husband Hates wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at TV My Husband Hates and join the Facebook group to keep the conversation going when the podcast ends. If Twitter's your thing, you'll find us at TV Husbands Hate. Theme music and production for TV My Husband Hates by Jimmy Sims.